on the deathbed, when we look back at our lives, what would we like to not have missed out on? Is it really things like, haven't I missed to visit that place? Haven't I earned that much money? Haven't I had that job? Or what is really relevant on the deathbed right before we go into this final transition? What is really relevant for you? And of course, to answer that question, we have to see from where do we look to answer this question? Because on the foreground, we could say the person, the I identified with this body, mind, organism, perceives the things around like real, right? This is a table, a chair, this is a cup in the background. But when we look deeper into our very nature and we really come to some true realizations there, and we look from a deeper sense of self, we see that this is not so real. This is not true. Now, it's interesting because now even science in the realm of quantum physics, they discover now that these things, these terms that we have taken to be absolutely true until now, are not true or are relatively true. So in quantum physics, they can show that by us observing something, by me watching this cup, by me looking at these things transform. So our perception, and as I say, from where we look, has an impact on reality out there. And we could even go a step further, is like, if I look from the absolute, from the self, I can see that I co-create reality step by step. And if I perceive myself from the I identified with this body, mind, organism, and I'm totally identified with that, and I feel separate with the outside and separate to the people I meet, then I can also see that in my actions, in my interactions, I co-create and repeat this sense of separation. He or she is better than me. I'm envying her. She did bad to me. I don't like how she treats me. You know, this is all pointing to the outside. But what I'm missing here is that the seeing that I co-create that. And this I can really see if I come to a deeper sense of self. And this is really available duty now. We are living in a time where a collective transformation is happening. And you're part of this, if you want it or not. It's happening. So somehow you want to bring yourself in the right position. And right position doesn't mean in the right job or right place to live, in a bigger apartment or smaller apartment. It means to bring yourself in your true position, in the realization of who you truly are. And from there, meeting the world as that. Because if we meet the world from that, we can see that we are not so separate. In fact, we are one. with everything. And we co-create our reality. So if we are emanating love and acceptance, we will co-create different realities. We will co-create that others also feel like that to us. If we start to live in dignity and in self-reflection and in deep self-love, we will make marvelous experiences of other people all of a sudden liking us or conflicts falling away. And of course, if you hear that, you might think, yeah, but how do I get there? And of course, spiritual practice, any kind of spiritual practice can help. Daily meditation, listening to talks like this, yoga, tai chi, qigong, walking in nature, all that can help. And at the same time, you can use all the triggers that you have to come to that deeper place. So if you're now walking in your life and you feel like, yeah, but I'm always bumping into people and it's hard, I don't progress. You can just work with these triggers, accepting them as a gift of transformation. And if the ego keeps babbling, yeah, but it's her fault, it's him treating me bad, you can say, okay, even if part of it is him or her, even if half of the subject is his or her fault, let's see at the other half, or let's see at the other third. Let's just see at this tiny little part that is my part, because it's my trigger. If I'm triggered, it has something to do with me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be triggered. So in that is a big learning experience and a big chance also to dive deeper into your true sense of self. And what can you do? You can just open to the trigger to happen. Instead of snapping back to the person, you're just making space and saying, okay, I'm breathing, I'm meeting the trigger, I'm making space for my feelings. I'm feeling the feelings, I'm ready to feel them, I'm going deeper. It hurts, okay, I'm going deeper. I'm staying interested, what is beyond that? It's like a dying process, like on the deathbed. You can remind yourself, in the end, you will have to go through that anyways. Little Kochi is giving resonance. Yeah, you'll have to die anyways. This body will fall off. So in that process is already a little death. And death for who? Death for the ego. The ego will not like it. The ego will go, no, but no him and no her. And you can stay with that. It's your choice. But in my experience, it creates more suffering here. And whose suffering is that? Mine. The other person might not even be aware of it, right? And you're going through some heavy suffering, right? So if you want to be free, and if you want to be free before death, then this is the way. We cannot bypass that. We have to go right through the emotions. So you can stay here and make space for the emotions, make space for the feelings, and just drop through it and just stay interested where you land. And sometimes it might just make like bloop, through the emotion, and you land in a place of peace, in a place of love, and you're free. So you could say any trigger that you meet in that way and you kind of come through it, even if it's coming through just a little bit, you know that another layer of conditioning has been freed. And this is the freeing that you might want to focus on if you want to have freedom on your deathbed. And then from here, you can look at life and really see, well, where do I want to invest my energy in? What do I want to give priority? Is it really so important what I do in my life? Is it really so important where I live? And if I have visited that or this place? Or is maybe something that has been overlooked all this time calling for you to come home? This very self, this very essence that you are, which is calling you to come home now. And then just finding your peace there. And then from there, you might even have a feeling of, it doesn't really matter what you do. It doesn't really matter where you live. You will do what you will do. But the whole scenery plays out in front of a deeper sense of self. There's a book, I forgot the author. It's called something like 5 things that dying people regret not having focused on enough. And they collected a whole bunch of people that were about to die and asked them, what did you regret? Do you think the right job is on the list? No. So some of the aspects was really, why didn't I spend more time with my beloveds? Why didn't I take more time off? And a lot of people wait till they're having their pension, wait till they, have to quit the job anyways. But then they might die right away, right? So why wait? And I guess this talk and video wants to go out now is because we are living now really in a time which is such a big chance in my experience, because this whole situation we're in collectively in the whole world is not only a painful thing for the little me that wishes the good old times to come back, but it's already a celebration for the bigger sense of self. Because this one is somehow just waiting, is maybe not the real word because it doesn't wait for anything, but yeah, just, it's just there and waiting for this little self to wake up to who we truly are. So this transformation, if you're interested in transformation in yourself, knowing that this is your time, because we are transforming as a collective now. And the calling that I feel is strongly here is, can we make it to really make this quantum leap, to really come into this bigger sense of self? And from there, we feel that we are one humanity. And we can co-create from here, co-create a world where we treat each other with kindness, where we learn constructive ways of communication, where we can still have strong feelings, but we learn how to deal with them in a different way. So if something in you can hear that, and you can feel a little bit this, I feel it as a celebration, then don't wait until the deathbed. Start right now, today, by inviting yourself to wake up with each situation life brings you. And these lessons of life, they will not always come on the silver tablet. Sometimes they come like a strong hit on the head. Doesn't matter. You just take it as it comes and you say yes to it and say, okay, let's see, how can I transform this situation in the best way? How can I meet it from the highest consciousness? And each time you can free some of these triggers, you can tap yourself on the shoulder and say, hey, one layer is freed again, less suffering, and it will be easier once I'm on my deathbed. So thank you all for listening, and see you soon.